Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another daily dose of Double Masters 2022 spoilers. So it's the weekend, but we still got quite a few sweet reprints to talk about, some pretty interesting stuff. Also, we're halfway through the mythics from the set, so at the end of the video, I want to talk a little bit about where we're at right now, what I'm hoping for as we see the other half of the set revealed next week. So anyway, a couple of quick reminders before we tier rank today's Double Masters 2022 reprints. First off, if you need some Double Masters cards, you can get them from our awesome sponsor Card Kingdom over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. And number two, if you want to keep up on all the latest spoilers throughout the day, you'll find them all over at MTGpreviews.com. You can sort them, you can filter them, all that good stuff. Anyway, let's tier rank today's reprints from Double Masters 2022. So nothing super high end today. We don't have anything in the S tier, nothing over $50, but we do have 3 A tier cards in the $25 to $50 price range. Although, to be honest, 2 of them just barely made it in the A tier. So we got Crucible of Worlds, which is the most valuable reprint of the day, coming in at around $40 with sweet new borderless art. So it isn't mythic, not going to be super easy to find, but if you need one for your commander deck, or there are some super fringe like legacy or modern decks that play it, going to be a little bit easier to get. Should drop the price down maybe to like $20 or something, which is super nice if you need one. Green Sun Zenith actually might have an argument for best reprint of the day just because it's at rare. It's only like $26, but in some ways a $26 rare is probably more valuable, especially if you look at the EV, than a $40 mythic, just because you're going to see it much more often. So if you need one for your commander deck or like Legacy Maverick, going to be dropping quite a bit thanks to this reprint. And then Dragon Lord Mocha, I honestly didn't realize this was a $25 card. It's one of those cards that has just been slowly creeping up in value. Mostly sees commander play, should come down quite a bit though, thanks to this reprint, even though it's at mythic. In the B tier, just one card today, and that is Damnation making its return yet again. Damnation story is pretty funny. For years, this was the holy grail of reprints. We were literally begging Wizards to reprint Damnation. It was kind of a meme at one point that Wizards would just never reprint it, no matter how expensive it got, no matter how badly we needed it. But now they reprint it, to their credit, pretty regularly. So it's right around $20, should come down even more, which is great because it does see a bit of play in formats like Modern and Legacy, and certainly a commander staple if you're in the black colors. Plus, also getting a sweet borderless version with cool new art. In the C tier, $5 to $10 cards, we got a few new options. Hardened Scales, obviously like a modern staple, sees a bit of play in other formats as well, particularly Commander and +1/+1 counter decks. The new Dinosaur and the borderless version, I don't know if I actually like it that much. I guess it's fine, but it's kind of weird compared to the old one. It's so different. We also got Boratusk Liege, and actually it seems like we're getting the whole Liege cycle, which is kind of disappointing. Boratusk Liege actually has a bit of value, like $7 or something like that, but most of them are pretty cheap. And then Anguish Unmaking, this is another card that just keeps going up in value. One of the best Orzhov removal spells in Commander, even though it sees literally 0 play in 60 card formats. It's like $7.50 or something, because basically any Orzhov deck is going to want a copy of this. So super excited to see this coming back just to make it more accessible for Commander. In the D tier, cards that are just barely above bulk. Path to Exile, one of the better uncommons we've seen in the set. They reprint Path to Exile all the time, but it just has so much demand from Commander, from Modern, even a little bit from Legacy. It just keeps coming back in value. So even though we've reprinted a ton, it's still like $3 or $4. Dax Duplicate, mostly expensive because it's never been reprinted, even though it is not super heavily played. Atarka's Command, Kedrick Leviathan, Gave Guru Spores. I mean, their cards. Gave is a kind of popular commander. Kedrick Leviathan, probably the best Momir reprint from the set. Adarka's Command sees modern play on occasion. And then we have our bulk tier, where we have a few rares that are not super exciting. Most of the Liege cycle resides here. Anger of the Gods, it's a good card, does see a lot of modern play, but only like $1.50 or something. Backdraft Alkite, kind of forgot that was actually a card, but 50 cents, some commander precon rare. In the F tier, we also have a bunch of bounce lands, and I want to mention these mostly because of the sweet new art. This is the first time we're getting borderless versions of the bounce lands, and the bounce lands still do see a lot of play in Commander. They're not expensive though. Even these borderless versions right now are listed for like 50 cents or something, so price-wise, they certainly count as bulk, although I do think they'll be pretty pretty popular with Commander players is upgrades as bling for their decks. Checking in on our EV price spreadsheet for today, there's a couple of things I wanted to mention. So value-wise, things are down quite a bit. Yesterday we were over $700, like $750 for EV of a box, down to $609, so lost almost $150 in a day, mostly thanks to the rares, honestly. We got a lot of bulk and just above bulk level rares today, which is bringing down the value of this slot by quite a bit. Mythics dropped a little bit. It was like 37, now it's down to 33, but really the Mythics today gave not super exciting, under $5, but both Crucible and Dragonlord Demoka are pretty solid cards. Rares though, I mean, we did get Green Sun Zenith, that's a good one. Hardened Scales, Bortus Glee is fine, Anguish Unmaking, so there's some decent mid-range options, but then we also got Backdraft Hellkite and a whole bunch more Lieges that are pretty close to literal bulk cards. The weirdest thing about the rares right now is the average rare value is still really good, but we're starting to see that the rare slot in booster packs of Double Masters 2022 gonna be really high variance because the median rare value is much lower. The median rare value under $3, while the average is almost $10. So what this means is the high-end cards are really driving up the average. The Teferi's Protections, the Phyrexian Ultras, the Sensei's Divining Tops, the Green Sun Zenith. So this is making the average remain high, even though most of the rares in the set are going to be bulk. So what this means is if you open any individual pack of Double Masters 2022, odds are your rares are not going to be great. If you open a ton of them and get through that variance and hit the high-end cards, then on average you're going to get a lot of value out of it, but that's not necessarily super helpful if you're just opening a small number of packs. The other thing I wanted to mention is we are now officially halfway through the Mythics of Double Masters 2022. Still got a ton of rares to go, only 25% through the rares, but Mythics we have 20 out of 40, and the most jarring part of this is not the cards. The value of the cards is really good, but we're really lacking modern reprints at this point. A little bit disappointed. If you look through the list of 20 Mythics that we have spoiled so far, there's only 4 of them that I would really consider modern cards. Ren 6, modern staple. Cavern of Souls, modern staple. Liliana the Last Hope, modern is its primary home. I don't know if you can really fairly consider it a staple of modern, but it is a card that mostly sees play in modern, if it sees play anywhere. And then you got like Bitter Blossom. It is a modern card, although Fairies isn't really much of a deck at this point. I guess if you really want to stretch, you can argue that Ulamog maybe sees a tiny bit of modern play, but really, out of these cards, most of them are Commander focused. Not many of them at all are modern focused, and I'm really hoping that this changes a little bit as we head into week 2 of spoiler season. We actually have this modern staples price page over on Goldfish, the modern index, and if you look at these cards, there is quite a few that could hopefully show up. So let's filter just by Mythics real quick, and I promise I'm not going to drag this out, but if we look at Mythics that are heavily played in modern, we have a couple. We mentioned Cavern in the set, Ren 6 in the set, Random Eldrazi occasionally shows up in the set, sort of. Kozilek, I guess, maybe sort of counts, but there's a lot more that we could get for modern. I think the biggest cards that I want to see, because I'm not expecting Modern Horizons 2 stuff, I think it's likely too soon from Wizards' perspective for us to get Ragavans, for us to get the Evoke Elementals, so I'm not going to expect those. What I am really hoping for, though, is Modern Horizons 1 Mythics. I'm talking about, like, Urza Lord High Artificer. I'm talking about Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm talking about Yawgmoth, Ranger Captain of Eos. Those are cards that it's been a couple, 2-3 years since they've been printed. They've increased in price a lot. They are fairly heavily played in various decks in Modern, so really hoping we get those. Also, options like Mox Amber could certainly show up. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Unlikely we get Liliana the Veil because we got lesser Lily in the set already, but I'm really hoping as we go through the rest of spoiler season, we start to see some of these cards show up in the set, because like I said, the value's great. We're getting high-end reprints, but so far, I haven't seen much that's really going to drop the price of Modern. There's just not a lot of Modern cards in there, and we're already kind of suffering from Modern being too expensive right now. Deck prices are just off the charts. A lot of tier decks are approaching $1,500, even $2,000 in some cases, so we really could use some more reprints to get the cost down there. So we'll have to wait and see. Another way we could go about this is just good lands. If we get fetch lands in the rare slot, also hoping for Modern Horizons 1 stuff in the rare slot, stuff like a Force of Negation, for example. So that's my request, is we head into week 2 of spoiler season. We see the second half of the Mythics, other 75% of the rares, really hoping and praying for some of those modern staples that we really need to get the cost of the format down. So overall, value dropping but still strong, but mostly a focus on Commander at this point. So we'll see see how the second half of the mythics from the set go over the coming days. So anyway, that brings us to the end of our daily Double Masters 2022 spoilers for today. So what do you think? What are you hoping for? We've seen half the mythics. What do you want in the second half? Are you happy with the commander cards? Are you hoping for more modern stuff? Is there anything in specific that you're hoping is going to show up on this list by the time we're done? What about the rares? Are you happy with the high-end stuff? Disappointed by the bulk in the set? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back tomorrow with more daily Double Masters 2022 spoilers. So until then, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.